So, one more thing about this age is that we're in the middle of this age only. This age is 11,500 years. Each of these ages is 11,500 years. And this started at when Krishna passed away about 5,500 years ago. So it was asked of a teacher, what does it mean that the golden age is in the midst of this Kali Yuga? This is not, we're still 5,000 years away, 5,500 years away. And he said that it's like this, that each age has a cycle that completes itself. It goes this way, it goes that way. So halfway through is half of the age, and then it goes back. And it says the 1,000 years of peace that is coming is the pendulum stopping for completing the cycle, just before completing the cycle. And then the test again will commence again, but on a higher turn of spiral. It will be only on the mental plane. Because humanity will have advanced so much. We will have gotten over this thing. So anyway, I got a little sidetracked. I was answering this question about, you remember when I asked this question about, so when there's all peace and love, is there no evil at all? But how could that be? Good and evil are coexist. And so, yes, evil exists, but the shape of evil that we face now, we live now, we see rampant evil, appalling injustices, you know, incredible lack of sharing and unequal distribution of wealth. Where, I mean, like within India, for instance, 4 of the 10 richest people live in India. Can you imagine that? What the kind of wealth that means for India, where you could feed a child for $10 for a month, where they starve to death. This only happens in the Kali Yuga. 4 of the 10 richest men live in India. So it's not that evil is going to disappear. Right now, do you know how much of America's population is in jail?
I don't know.
I heard I'm sure none of you know this.
We have the highest amount of prisoners.
But you know by what proportion?
10%?
No, 6% of the world population lives in America. 25% of the world's prison population lives in America.
Mm-hmm.
So,
It's big business.
it's just these proportions changing astronomically. Like, instead of, I don't know if it's 1.5 or 2.5, it's pretty high percentage of a total population of America in prison. And the money the resources that go in taking care of the prisoners and the manpower that is used so that proportion will come down to like 1/100ths. And for wisdom to rule the world, for justice to rule the world, but that doesn't mean that it's going to completely disappear. It's going to mean triumph of the good. And crime, wars, those things will be a big rarity, not commonplace and everyday. And so it's hard to imagine. It's hard to imagine the world because we think this is the only reality. Um, 20 years ago, some people were talking to the Saint Sai Baba, who I mentioned quite a few times. And he was asked to mention what is that one quality that make that age, that golden age time stand out and say, well, you know, this is the principal thing that highlights that golden age. What will that be? What will be the most prominent identifying characteristic of that time of peace? And he said that in that time, your only real worth in the world, your only real importance in the world will be your spiritual importance, your spiritual worth. Nothing else will matter. Not your wealth, not your knowledge, qualification, I mean, of course, worldly knowledge. Not your youth, nothing else will matter. Now, with our minds, we can't even think of that time. How can we? Our very consciousness it's the threads of our consciousness are interwoven into this system where this personal power of some kind, which is represented by either wealth or something that is very phenomenal. So, and he also said, before he passed away in 2011, 2 years ago, he said, less than 25 years it will have fully happened, but it has happened and it's already happening. Right after the 21st December, last year.
Last month.
Yeah, there's some meditations I want to share with you that I was feeling these energy, this very subtle but very real, that do signify the shift. I was feeling the descent of an energy that's going to become more and more and more powerful this year, that represents an energy that can transform advanced humanity. Meaning the final and complete transformation into beings of light. And when I was meditating that, I remembered something very distinctly, powerfully, something that very real, enlightened Sufi saint had shared with me about 20 years ago. And I was told that in this time that is to come, there will be a day. Now, a day could be a symbolic, it could be a period of time or a week, but fairly short period of time. And how it was described to me was this, that a cloud will descend from the heaven, and that cloud will have names of certain people written on them, on that cloud. And then that cloud will go and touch the hearts of these people whose names are written on that cloud. And as soon as the cloud touches those hearts, their whole being will transform into light. So part of my perception on this is, especially what I've looked into and meditated recently, is that the final phase of the shift will come about by that energy which will transform the minds and hearts of these very chosen, advanced, small group of people. And once they transform completely, the rapid changes will come about in a very short period of time. Now, even if it's, let's say, the complete change come in about 20 years, because when Sai Baba talked about it, it's already been a few years. If you're to transform into a world where the only measure of your importance is your spiritual importance, it's a world we can't even imagine. Can't even imagine. The world of so much greed and personal power that we live in even today. Even that 25 years is nothing, because so many powerful things have to happen. Unless it's one day waking up and finding ourselves in heaven, I don't think it's going to happen like that. It's still going to be notches, but very powerful notches of going into light that will happen over the next 25 years. But the most essential of that will happen in the next 10 years. And many things will start happening from this year and onwards. Let's look at the time a little bit.
It's 9:15.
And-
How long are you going to work to talk? How long are you to talk?
Well, I'm thinking before we end, we could, there's a prayer that Jal Khul gave out to the world. It's called the Great Invocation.
The great what?
The Great Invocation. And the Great Invocation is a prayer that has been with the masters for ages, for millennia actually. And according to the teachings given out, the masters themselves, within cosmic law, within karmic law, chant this at the beginning of every new cycle, or even at the beginning of when the time is coming for a world teacher to appear. The masters themselves chant, depending on the karma of humanity. They themselves chant this prayer to speed up events. And with them, this prayer exists in ancient language. I believe it's called Senzar. But the Great Invocation was given out in the 30s, I think, by the Master Jal Kul, and asked that we chant as many times as we can. And I believe that the prayer has great potency, and it'd be good to chant it together. So what I'll do is I will say every one line, and we can all repeat together and feel the energy of it. If you feel afterwards, we can chant some Gayatris too.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll say the first line of the Great Invocation. We can all repeat it together. From the point of light within the mind of God. From the point of light within the mind of God. Let light reach out into the minds of men.
Let light reach out into the minds of men.
Let light descend on earth.
Let light descend on earth.
From the point of love within the heart of God.
From the point of love within the heart of God.
Let love reach out into the hearts of men.
Let love reach out into the hearts of men.
May Christ return to earth.
May Christ return to earth.
From the center where the will of God is known. From the center where the will of God is known. Let purpose guide the little wills of men. Let purpose guide the little wills of men. The purpose that the masters know and serve. The purpose that the masters serve. And may it seal the door where evil dwells.
And may it seal the door where evil dwells.
Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. The light, love, and power represent the Holy Trinity, the first three rays: will, love, wisdom, and intelligent activity. And somehow all religions somehow make a mention of it. The Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Islamic, Allah, Rahman, Rahim. Vedic, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. If you want to chant this more, you can. There's even versions that are sung by some beautiful voices or chanted together. I'm sure there's versions on YouTube.
Under the Great Invocation?
Yeah, you have to look for the Great Invocation. What's in that, Beth?
The Gayatri mantra.
Okay. Do 3 times?
However many times you want.
We want more than 3, right? Wait, Beth won't be.
Not too long, and I won't bore everybody.
Huh?
Not too long.
3's okay?
3's good.
Okay. We'll do it 3 times.
You want to explain it to those that are new?
Yeah, okay. Or just give a little introduction to the Gayatri Mantra.
First prayer.
Gayatri is the most powerful chant from the Vedic tradition. It's the essence of the Vedas, which is the major scriptures of India. To chant the Gayatri once is like chanting the Vedas. It connects you to the Vedic energy. And I told you the importance of the coming Vedic cycle, which is going to take over the world. When I say take over the world, light is going to so pervade the world. To connect with that energy, easiest thing is to chant the Gayatri. It's also said in the Vedic tradition that the day you learn the Gayatri, it's your second birth. Another thing that would be very useful to mention is that if you want to understand the science of mantras, and particularly any Vedic mantra, and you're not from the tradition, and you want it to be more powerful, I would suggest to learn the Gayatri first. Because once it becomes part of your heart, any Vedic mantra you chant is going to have real power. Otherwise, you may have a gap between connecting with the real energy of that mantra. So if somebody wants to do a Lakshmi mantra or a Ganesh mantra, I ask them to chant and learn the Gayatri first. It's got 4 lines. If you go and search for meanings, it will seem like you've come up with 200 different meanings. But if you look closely, it's really the same thing. Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha. O divine energy that pervades the 3 realms of endeavor, or the 3 realms. That divine energy that pervades the 3 realms. Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha. Tat Savitur Varenyam. That divine effulgence that's worthy of adoration. Now Savitr, Tat Savitur Varenyam. Savitri is that divine effulgence. It's been translated many different ways, but actually it's the Savitri is also a divine energy, a goddess that represents the sun, the real sun. So if you use theosophical term, it could be the central spiritual sun, the eternal sun, the sun behind the sun, that energy that nourishes the whole solar realm, solar system. Tat Savitur Varenyam. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. I meditate on your divine presence. Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayat. I invoke you to enlighten my mind and heart. That's the meaning of the Gayatri. So what I'll do is it's 4 lines. I will chant each line and we can repeat, and we'll do 3 rounds of it. Thank you. Om Bhur Bhuvassuvaha. Om Bhur Bhuvassuvaha. Tat Savitur Varenyam. Tat Savitur Varenyam. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayat. Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayat. Om Bhur Bhuvassuvaha. Om Bhur Bhuvassuvaha. Tat Savitur Varenyam. Tat Savitur Varenyam. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayat. Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayat. Om Bhur Bhuvassuvaha. Om Bhur Bhuvassuvaha. Tat Savitur Varenyam. Tat Savitur Varenyam. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayat. Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayat. After every chanting, it's very customary to say Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Unless somebody has any questions about terms may I have used, or any clarification on anything I've said, we will bring it to a close. Anybody have anything to say or ask? Or
She had the money up first.
And remember, you have to
Oh.
repeat the question.
Well, I just wanted to say a little bit about the evil part. And that is that my understanding was that our planet has been moving into the sixth dimension.
Right.
And that in the sixth dimension, there is no longer the third dimensional judgments, so that
Yeah.
there is no evil and there is no good. It is all in the form of love and joy, and so that because the judgment comes from the third dimension, and
Right.
so that as a result, the word evil is the polar of love, I guess,
Right.
and so that there is no polarity anymore.
Polarity of a third dimensional, the scale it is exists, is what I'm talking about, will disappear. According to any esoteric doctrine, there cannot be manifestation without polarity. There's nothing without polarity. So, you know the word Maya? The spirit father, matter mother. The Maya is essential for any kind of manifestation to be. The mother aspect is essential for any manifestation to be. The manifested world cannot exist without polarity. But what I'm saying is will disappear is the tremendous extreme of the polarity. It will exist on a subtle scale, and of course the face of evil that we see now will disappear. It'll exist on a subtler, sixth dimension, whenever that comes, the polarity will be very subtle, and its ugly face will disappear.
Okay.
There was a man you kept referring to, John Cool?
Joel Cool, yes.
How do you spell that?
DJWALKHUL. Very senior master in the divine hierarchy of masters. And he gave out these teachings through dictation from the 30s to 1949, early 30s to 1949, called the Alice Bailey Teachings, which are online if you go to a website called the lucistrust.org or lucistrust.org. Lucis Trust, LUCISTRUST.org. So with that, we will bring this to a close until we meet again soon.
Namaste. Namaste.